Hey everyone, it's Stephanie with the Mermaid Trading Post, and today I'm taking you through my booth tour. Now, this is my very first booth at a resale shop, and I wanted to show everyone what it looked like. This is pretty much, I think, week one, and I opened this just sort of spur of the moment. I was supposed to be taking a bit of a vacation, and I was going around to different thrift stores and resale shops and antique shops and just looking for fun deals. And I found this one. I've actually been here a few times before, and they had just rented out the space next door and sectioned it off to rent out for different vendors. So since I was looking into opening a store anyways, but didn't have the resources to, make something completely from scratch and hire employees and everything that goes into starting a new business, I decided to just rent this booth spur of the moment, and panic set in when I realized I had to fill it. So this was a bunch of stuff that I basically found off of Facebook Marketplace. I rented a U-Haul and found a bunch of different bookcases and such I thought could use as fixtures, and then I went through, and most of this stuff is my personal collection. I have a whole lot of different things that I collect, and they honestly have been sitting in my closet for years and years and years. So I decided to go through, and anything that wasn't super sentimental I put here in this booth. And as you can see, there's a lot of things with owls and birds, and also a bit of a nautical theme as well. I have gravitated more towards nautical things like mermaids and seahorses and even unicorns, which aren't nautical but definitely fantasy. And so I'm going to be tailoring the booth as we go along to more shabby chic and nautical and fantasy themed items. But for now, I wanted to show you just everything here that is, again, mostly for my personal collection. These are some old tin photos. I kept some of my glass photos. Actually, I kept all of the glass photos because those were mostly of houses and landscaping, and these were just random people. I thought that they would be a little bit more interesting, and again, not something that I 100% wanted to hang on to for any sentimental reason. And this beautiful mirror I had got at a flea market many years ago, and it is scratched up, but the frame is so pretty with those little roses. I decided it was time to part with it. Instead of it sitting in my closet, it could go to someone who appreciates it. And over here we have the jewelry table. I actually make these. I've been making handmade mermaid hair clips and greeting cards and junk journal, book covers, and other just random arts and craft things that I've been working on. So I figured, since this booth again is going to be more nautical, as I start to tailor it more towards that way, my mermaid hair clips would fit in perfectly. And this section of the jewelry was actually filled in by one of my friends, and she let me go through and pick some pieces that I thought again would fit in with the theme of what I'm doing. She makes a lot of jewelry from old spoons and silverware. I believe the bracelets are from either spoon ends or fork ends. So we added a small collection of her stuff here just on this little rack to see how they do. I have added since then a bunch more costume jewelry, but I'll have to update you in another video with those. I did also buy a bunch of different fixtures for the slat wall so that I could take advantage of the wall space as well, and hopefully eventually sell this display that's holding my salt and pepper shakers. I didn't want this to be a permanent fixture in my store because it only houses very, very tiny things, and I figured once that or some of the salt and pepper shakers sell, we can start reconfiguring this wall. And I also have a few teacups. I used to have a much bigger teacup collection. However, I did end up keeping, sorry, you can hear my cat in the background. Hi, Lexi. I did end up keeping maybe 10 of my favorites out of a collection of several hundred that I used to turn into candles. So I went through the, small handful that I had left and just split them in half, kept my real favorite ones and brought the rest here. We also had a crystal decanter set. I believe that was my mom's, but again, it's something that isn't super sentimental, nothing that I really remember having a story attached or anything to it, so I figured that could go to a good home. And on this side I found this stool, and I had these two boxes. One is vintage, I think one is more modern, but they happen to match really well. I think the bigger one is a hat box, so I put those together because they just match perfectly. And inside the cabinet I just have a few frames and these beautiful floral dishes that already sold. I put a $20 marking on them thinking that was sort of expensive, and they sold so quickly I'm wondering if maybe I undervalued them at this point. We also have a few mugs with lids. This one, I just really like the colors. It gave me a fun tropical vibe, and I found that at a another store recently. I can't remember if it was a thrift store The glass rainbow vases were for my personal collection, and this little hummingbird perfume bottle was my mother's, I believe. We also have a little Avon owl. I think there's some sort of powder inside of it. These are fairly common. I see them quite often when I'm out and about. And another little owl figurine. Again, you see you have like a huge owl obsession, so hopefully we'll weed out some of those and bring in more of the ocean themed stuff, like this adorable dolphin fountain I found at a garage sale. It's really, really cute. There's even some little stones on top. I also found this napkin holder at a garage sale, and I love the coral color with the starfish. The snow globe I had in my collection, I had found at a Goodwill a while back. And this notebook I found, I believe, at a Salvation Army. I thought it was so cool. It's leather and it has the pieces that hang off with a little metal anchor. And up on the shelf I have a sake set that belonged to my mom. It's called a whistling sake set. I believe as you pour the sake out, the little bird makes a noise, but I've never actually used it. This big piece of wood here we actually found at a house that I went to pick up the bookcases, the two big white bookcases that you'll see. She had that lying in the corner and she sold it to me as well, really cheap. I thought it would make a great display. And these little trinket boxes, the fish and this, I don't know, goldish colored one, were part of my personal collection. I recently found this little fishy at a flea market, but his clasp was broken on the back, so I figured someone else maybe would want him and repair him, or just keep him around because he was adorable, and that did actually sell already. The box here, I actually looked up and they're selling for quite a bit more than I had it marked. I had it marked at $8, so I actually went back and changed it to $18. And these, oh my gosh, these candlesticks, Renoir, I don't even know how to say that. I found those at a Goodwill for $4 a piece. And I just picked them up because they were super heavy and I thought they looked pretty nautical, like they came from the ocean. Turns out they're from the 80s, and the set sells for I believe over $100 on eBay. I think I marked them at like 60 or 80 for the shop. Trying to make things cheaper than you would find online, but a little bit more expensive than you would if you were at a normal thrift store, since it is a retail shop for vintage and antiques. You can also sell modern things as well. You'll see some of those in here. But I wanted to keep the prices fair so that they move quickly. And this lamp set, oh my gosh, I love these. I found these at a thrift store and she had them marked down to $35, and I think I ended up getting them for $25. So that was a good deal. I'll definitely be able to double my money on those if they sell. These little bowls and the kitty figurines, again, just for my personal collection. I thought this blue one looked like Fenton, but it's not marked. I would be willing to bet that it's Fenton, but since it's not, I didn't sell it for a super high price. And then these books I painted myself. They were just old books that I sort of glued shut and put stencils on and paper clay molds and went through with paint just to make them look like they were shabby chic and vintage. And I almost kept these for myself, but the second I opened this booth, I knew that they would just fit in perfectly. This is sort of the theme I want to go towards in the direction I want to go towards in the future. And we have a few different plate sets here. This, again, I just had in my personal collection. Never used them. They just sat in a box. And oh my gosh, I love this cup. This is still here. I thought that would go quickly because of the beautiful pink and blue. Maybe if it was a set, it would. And these little vintage butterfly trays, they nest in each other, so they're stackable. But I laid them out because they're super cute for jewelry and whatever you want to put on them. We also have these cute little flower vases I found at a thrift store, and the carousel pin. That must have sold too because I don't remember seeing it recently. I also found that at a flea market I was at recently. And the doilies, I found at a flea market a while back. I don't know what I was going to do with them, but the lady I bought them from said that her mother had made them years and years and years ago. And I was very, very happy to take those off her hand because I thought they were just absolutely precious. That's basically it. I didn't get to tell you about every single piece because it went by a little bit faster than I imagined, but I hope you enjoyed taking a look at my booth. I will try to do some more videos where I update you on my hauls of things that I find and possibly take you shopping with me. And of course, I will do another booth update once things are rearranged and restocked a bit more. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss them, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!